Red Bull has seen the best half of the season since 2013. The Austrian team has scored 431 points in 13 races and won 9 of them. On the other hand, Mercedes has seen the worst half of the season since 2013 and only scored 304 points so far. Moreover, Lewis Hamilton has set a new negative personal record by not winning a Grand Prix in 14 races' time. Ever since the start of his career, Hamilton managed to win at least one race in every season, where the biggest gap between his wins was just 10 races. Hamilton has repeatedly said that he believes in his team and that they should push hard to further develop the car. However, what is limiting Mercedes more than ever before is that the budget cap automatically put restrictions to the rate of the car development. Teams have just $140 million to spend and an additional 3.1% to cover for inflation. The total budget for 2022 comes down to $144 million. Unfortunately for Mercedes, they had to overcome the many porpoising issues they faced at the beginning of the season. Solving these issues already took out a significant part of their budget. However, Wolff has said that more updates are expected in 2022, while the focus is slowly shifting towards the 2023 car. He continued by saying, "We haven't hit our initial goals for the season. We are strong and are currently the third team, but that is not our goal. At the same time, we shouldn't think that we have the right to anything, because if you think that you should win, then that is really your down way. However, we remain humble and focus on the development of the car. We are bringing more upgrades this season, and we slowly shift the car development to the 2023 car." But while Mercedes is fighting to close the gap with Ferrari and Red Bull, the Austrian team is about to shake up the field again. Auto, Motor and Sport confirmed that Red Bull is secretly working on a secret but big upgrade that is going to give them a lasting advantage. However, the $6 million associated to this upgrade raises questions as to how Red Bull manages to do this with the budget cap at play. But what is Red Bull secretly working on? How can they afford such a rapid development rate? And what can Mercedes do about it? Let's find out. In October 2019, the teams and FIA agreed that a budget would deliver a more competitive championship, promote a level playing field, and ensure the long-term financial stability and sustainability of F1. The large difference in spending budgets between the teams made it impossible for smaller teams to catch up with the big teams. To make it more fair and to keep costs under control, all teams agreed in May 2020 to implement a budget cap from 2021 and onwards. Whereas teams like Ferrari and Mercedes spent almost $450 million in 2020, they were now restricted to just $145 million in 2021 and $140 million in 2020. This had huge implications as the larger teams had to either relocate or get rid of a significant part of their human resources. But there is more. There is not only a budget cap to make the playfield more equal. Teams also get restricted in their CFD and simulation times according to the position in the Constructors' Championship. On both the 31st of December and the 30th of June, the standings in the Constructors' Championship affect how many hours of CSD and simulation time every F1 team gets in the next 6 months. From 2022 to 2025, the standard allowance is 40 simulation runs a week. However, the top 6 constructors will be limited in increments of 5%. Since Red Bull was leading the Constructors' Championship at the end of June 2022, they are now only allowed to work with a 70% allowance, or in other words, just 28 runs a week till at the least the end of the year. Despite the budget cap and limited CFD time, Red Bull has been able to rapidly develop their car. With massive upgrades in Imola and Silverstone and smaller upgrades throughout most of the other races, they have been able to tackle some big issues of their car. One of Verstappen's biggest complaints was a lack of front grip, which has significantly been improved in the last couple races, to the point that Sergio Perez now starts to feel less comfortable in the car. But how does Red Bull manage to develop their car with the budget cap? In May of 2022, Matteo Binotto expected Red Bull not to keep up with their fast development rate due to the budget cap. The Italian branch of Motorsport.com calculated that Red Bull already spent more than 2/3 of their development budget, which is according to Gunther Steiner around $10 million. Although Binotto expected Red Bull to slow down on their development rate, nothing has shown that they were right. According to Auto, Motor and Sport, who said earlier that they have information that Red Bull will bring minor upgrades to the Belgian Grand Prix and introduce a new low downforce rear wing in Monza. Red Bull isn't the only team that is bringing more upgrades this season. Mercedes Motorsport Strategy Director James Voles said in an interview with The Race, in terms of the upgrades themselves, yes, they are incremental steps. They are small steps that we are adding to the car. But the important point is that we have plans to introduce far, far more across the races that follow. We are not going to be able in one go to just catch up and be with Ferrari and Red Bull, but hopefully, as you have seen across the season so far, we are incrementally closing that gap down, and we have more to come. Vols is confident that they can close the gap with the top teams, and that they will persist with the development of the W13 rather than switching the focus early to its 2023 car. But just as Mercedes is inching closer and securing 5 consecutive podium finishes with 2 cars on the podium in the last 2 races, Red Bull is about to introduce an upgrade that will gain them over 0.3 of a second per lap. This equals around 15 to 20 seconds in a full race distance. So what is Red Bull secretly working on? According to Auto, Motor and Sport, Red Bull is working hard to bring down the weight of their car. The 2022 cars have a minimum weight of 798 kilos, compared to 752 kilos in 2021. Many drivers have complained about the ever-increasing weights of the car, as it makes the car feel heavy, less agile to play around with when battling on track. Despite the ever-increasing minimum weights, Red Bull was between 15 to 20 kilos too heavy during preseason. A new upgrade package at the second week of preseason already reduced that amount by 5 to 10 kilograms, and another weight-reducing upgrade in Imola made it so that the Red Bull was just between 3 to 5 kilos too heavy. However, Ferrari, who was also a bit too heavy at the beginning of the season, quickly introduced a couple weight-reducing upgrades to reach the minimum weight. After a failing DRS from Verstappen in Spain and Azerbaijan due to a lighter but less sturdy rear wing, they had to resort back to heavier components. Their upgrade package in Silverstone added even more weight, and currently Red Bull is between 7 kilos too heavy. This equals to a 0.3 second time loss per lap compared to Ferrari. Auto, Motor and Sport said that Red Bull is building a new chassis structure that would reduce the weight of the car by 5 to 7 kilos and gain an additional 0.3 per lap. However, building a new chassis costs around $2 million per car, and many wonder how Red Bull can afford this after they have already spent so much on developing their car this season. Teams always produce 3 chassis to have a spare, so the total cost would equal $6 million. While many people question how Red Bull can afford this, others finally start to connect the dots. Earlier in the year, Christian Horner and Helmut Marko were lobbying hard to increase the budget cap. Their main reasoning was the high inflation rate, and they were afraid that if the budget cap wouldn't be increased, they wouldn't be able to drive the last couple races of the season. The teams agreed to raise the budget cap by 3.1%, which equals an extra $4.3 million. It now becomes evident that Red Bull needed the extra money to lower the weight of the car, and that Christian Horner and Helmut Marko were already thinking ahead to get themselves a lasting advantage. Insiders say that another team is working on building a new chassis as well, but when Mercedes was asked whether they are the other team, they responded, "No, that would be way too expensive. Not only because of the crash test, but also because we would need to build 3 new chassis, and those cost you $2 million apiece." Everything points to a master plan played by the Red Bull team. Mercedes has no time and budget to respond anymore, so they need to find other ways to gain an additional 0.3 of a second. Do you think Mercedes will close the gap after the upcoming chassis update of Red Bull? Do you also feel that Red Bull tricked the other teams? Let me know in the comments section below.